Hey YouTube, right here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover a topic that kind of ties into the last video that I put out. So, why is it that men, when, tragedy strikes and that sort of thing, are the last ones to be cared about? Well, you got some people that will sit there and say, oh, well, it's because, gynocentrism, all that sort of thing. That's actually not necessarily it. It's actually more of a biological reason. So let's go ahead and delve into it. I'm actually going to go ahead and use a video game that I'm playing as kind of an example. I'm going to use one of the mechanics inside of it, namely breeding mechanics. But I'm playing a game called Ark, and what it is you're on an island. You tame dinosaurs, you use dinosaurs for utility, for combat, all that sort of stuff. Well, you can also breed dinos. Well, here's the thing. If you're running around and you're looking to breed a bunch of dinos, either to go ahead and make kibble or because you want to go ahead and, breed up chains and get the highest stats and all that sort of thing, the thing that you want to find is a lot of female dinos. One male. Now, why would this be? Well, let's put it this way. Let's say you have two groups of dinos, right? You have two bases that are breeding dinos. You have one base that is that has 50% male dinos, 50% female dinos. All right? Let's say that they have 10 male dinos. Well, let's say, no. Let's say 21 dinos total, right? Let's say they have 10 female dinos and 11 male dinos. I know that's not a 50-50 split, but trust me, it'll make sense later. Right? Now you've got another base that has one male dino and 20 female dinos. Those of you who are actually familiar with how the breeding game works will instantly see which one of those two bases, just from that description, is going to be able to output the most dinos. It's going to be base B. Because that one male dino can impregnate all of those other female dinos. Base A will be able to output 10 dinos. Of course, barring triplets and twins and all that. Saying that each egg that's laid gives one dino. Well, the thing is base B is going to be able to output double their amount. They're going to be able to output 20 at a time. So how does that translate over into the real world? Well, as we've seen, thanks to a lot of shows, shows like Jerry Springer and shit. Yeah. A guy is very, very capable of impregnating multiple women. So as far as the breeding game is concerned, men are not that important. One man who would have to drink a lot of water and, take a lot of energy pills and shit, could technically keep the human race up and running. I mean, you're not going to have very much genetic diversity, but it is a possibility. It would suck. Our numbers would drop down to a certain point because, even guys, ladies who are watching, go ahead and ask a guy what a dry fire is. Go ahead and ask. Be prepared for a horror story. But anywho, so it takes significantly less men to go ahead and maintain. In fact, women are the ones that are actually necessary for it. So, why should we care about men? Well, because life isn't just about the mating game. And the thing is doesn't help to only have one man when you've got things attacking you. Having just a bunch of women. And if all of them are consistently pregnant, well, guess what? You're not going to be able to accomplish too much. That's going to be a lot of carnage. Hence the men's role of protector. One moment. Sorry about that. There's some construction going on the street. Please bear with me on it. But like I was saying, hence men's role as protector. While the women are pregnant, while the women are giving birth, while the women are, taking care of their kids in those younger years when they're at their most vulnerable, the men's role, biologically, was to provide and protect. So for that, you need multiple men. Maybe not necessarily as many men as women, but you needed them there. But even nature views us as cannon fodder. Cannon fodder and gatherers. Well, now, in today's society, at least in Western societies, men are expected to do all that as well as care for the young. Women have the option of going out, earning a living and so on and so forth. But it is an option. Very few people look down on a woman for being a stay-at-home wife and mother. However, if a man is a stay-at-home father, well, his manhood's called into question. Constantly. There are other assumptions made. But see, this is what happens when you try to go against nature. When you try to go against our very design. And so, what happens? Well, women start getting depressed because they're not able to go with nature. They're trying to go against it. And that causes some imbalances. Causes a feeling of emptiness. That's why, women who fail to find a mate, don't have kids, that sort of thing, end up getting a bunch of cats. The whole stereotypical cat lady. It's to get that feeling of being surrounded. It's getting those maternal instincts out. Why they choose cats and not dogs, I don't know. Well, I do know, but that's a video for another day. That one's going to be more of a haha video, but this one's more of a serious one. But how do we go ahead and change this? Well, at this point, we're very rapidly reaching the point of no return, because the thing is now men who previously did not really even see the other side of the fence are now able to live live on the other side of the fence, see how exactly greener that grass is, and they don't want to go back. Then you got other men who are sitting there looking at these guys that are sitting there and putting themselves in these two fenced-in areas, who are out in the wilds, who are sitting there going, why the fuck would you cage yourself? Hence MGTOW. And with the rise of surrogate pregnancies and so on and so forth, well, you can't even say, oh, well, they're not even reproducing, so it's not gonna be a lasting thing. Wrong. Not to mention, as other young men see the options available to them, and as MGTOW gets more and more press, which is funny, because who's the one giving them press? No, feminists. They're trying to sit there, shame us, so on and so forth. But young men are looking at that and going, huh, that doesn't seem like such a bad deal. In fact, it seems like the best one. And so you're seeing more and more young men starting to go MGTOW. Before they have the unfortunate experience of getting fucked over by our current system. But I figured a little bit of explanation as to why, because I watched Angry's video on the whole male female suicide rate thing, and how male suicides dropped by like 0.2 of a percentile, and but female suicide rates jumped up like 1 or 2 percentiles, and all of a sudden it's a huge epidemic. All of a sudden suicide is the greatest threat to us and that sort of thing, even though it's been the greatest threat to men for at least a fucking century, if not longer. But the thing is women, as far as how nature designed them, really aren't chemically equipped for what feminism is wanting women to do. Some women are, yes, but a lot of women aren't. They want more of that traditional aspect, but that's now been taken off the table thanks to feminism. And so, what does that mean? That means women en masse are becoming more and more miserable. They're becoming less and less happy. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Feminism was one of the worst things to ever happen to women. It is one of the most damaging forces to women. However, feminism, in its own fucked up way, has also been freeing men. Because the thing is now, they've put female nature on full display for men to see. Really throwing out there the actual thoughts of women, in the deepest, darkest part of their brain. They're bringing that all the way up to the forefront. So now, we have a situation. You've got it to where a lot of women are wanting to go back. They're ditching feminism fast, But the thing is it's kind of too late, because the thing is now, men, it's one of those things, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Men now have an eye on women. They're all like, no, now I know what's fucking going on in that head of yours behind those beady little eyes. And so now men are sitting there going, maybe I don't want to sign up for this. And so now the shaming is going to increase. I'm telling you right now, you're going to see harsher and harsher shaming language. You're going to see these feminist and libtard groups trying to pass more and more stuff where women can say whatever they want to men, do whatever they want to men, but men aren't able to say or do anything back. And then they're going to go ahead and they're going to continue to try to pass laws where if a woman sits there and tries to goad you on and you just ignore her, ignoring her is illegal. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And they're going to continue pushing this until the point where it's just not worth it for men to even interact with women, period. To not go anywhere near them. Where it will be dangerous for men to even be in the very presence of women. We're already seeing this happen. It's been going in that direction for years. But just now more and more people are becoming aware of it. And you've got some level-headed people who are sitting there and saying we need to put a stop to this because this is going to be detrimental to us, not only as a society, but just as a species in general. But the thing is, it's a little bit too late. Because now you've got men off the plantation back in the wilds again. And you've got other men who are sitting there who really can't be forced onto the plantation. They have to volunteer to stay there. Who are sitting there watching these men out in the wilds thriving. As they're getting whipped by their slave masters. And by slave masters, I mean their wives, their girlfriends, feminists, libtards, and big daddy government. Well, you can only mistreat something so long until it either snaps and fights back, or until it runs away. Says, fuck this, peace, I'm out. Well, that's what MGTOW is. It's men that have gotten sick and tired of the abuse, and they decided to go off the plantation, but now they're shouting from off of the plantation at the other guys, telling them, you're welcome to join us anytime you want. All you have to do is just step across that line. And more men are stepping across that line. And young men are starting to step across the line. I've started to notice that change in demographic. Now, when Peterson was sitting there and talking about MGTOW, he was using some old information. You know, where MGTOWs are, you know, primarily in their late 30s, early 40s, or even later. Well, now, that average age group is slowly dropping. Now we're looking at early 30s, late 20s. Pretty soon it's going to be mid 20s, early 20s. And the only way that that can happen is if ones that are younger than that median are going MGTOW. You know, 16, 17, 18. And of course, their way of fighting that is, well, more hardcore indoctrination. But the thing is the more hardcore the indoctrination gets, well, the more miserable the women are going to be. Or should I say girls at that point. The girls are going to become more and more miserable, because they're going to be constantly told that they should be miserable, as well as feeling that added pressure that they're not equipped for. And then, on top of that, you're going to have them really struggling to find a good guy. Yeah, they're going to go ahead, they're going to go after the dumbass jock and all that sort of thing, but they're not going to really have any real meaningful relationships. They're not going to know what actual love is. They're going to know what hypergamy is, and that's it. Which is going to fuck them up later on in life, because they're going to sit there, get with guy after guy after guy after guy, and not understand why all the guys they go after are treating them like shit, are cheating on them, and so on and so forth. And why the ones who seem to be more on the ball, the ones that seem to be nicer, well, they're the ones that avoid them like the plague. They're not going to understand this, because they're going to have had it shoved in their head that they deserve the greatest man, that they deserve their Prince Charming, that they shouldn't have to work to better themselves, that they shouldn't have to actually put effort into it. So the thing is this is a self-feeding problem. And the thing is MGTOW has now become a self-propagating thing. Because the very group that's fighting against MGTOW is giving MGTOW the most exposure. It's driving more and more men to MGTOW. And then when women decided to go ahead and make their own counter movement to MGTOW, it failed horribly. Those women ended up being absolutely miserable. So, whereas men that go MGTOW tend to be relatively happy. Like me, I'm one of those people, I thrive off of anger. But also at the same time, I'm actually happy with my current situation. I don't have too much of an issue. Reason being, I'm not really a slave. So, I figure it this way. At least I'm fucking free. And they're going to continue to, extend olive branch after olive branch after olive branch. But don't take hold of that olive branch. I'm telling you right now, guys. Do not take a hold of even one of those. Because that olive branch has a snake on it. Anything they offer you, it's going to come at way too high of a cost. Women have lost the ability to appropriately price their services that they can provide to others. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. But yeah, just wanted to go ahead and bring that up, give the reason why, also go off on a little bit of a rant. Have yourselves a nice day. Talk to y'all later.